One. Hello and welcome to the Destiny Expanse podcast, where we talk about all things Destiny. I'm Callan, and I'm joined today by the Cabal Dundee himself. Joe, what's up, man?
Good afternoon there, mateys.
Oh boy, what a show we have today, dude. We're talking about E3, post E3, and communal outrage. But first, let's talk about the Darkness and the Stranger, both of which have decidedly taken the form of Luke Smith, who has said some interesting things over the last few days, huh? Okay. For Kotaku's podcast, Luke Smith, the bearer of the best news, says of the Darkness, and I quote, "At a point, just totally candidly, we had no idea what the Darkness was. Straight up, we had no clue. We didn't know what it was. For a period, we chose we were going to lump all the races, and you can see this in the tooltips in the game, Minions of the Darkness. And we had taken all the races and said, they can just be all the Darkness. But that's not what the IP deserves. It's literally not. And so what we're doing with Destiny is we are deliberately telling a story about the light and what it means to be chosen. And as such, we are in the process of removing the term the darkness from the game, because when we are going to talk about the darkness next, we need to know what it is and have a plan for it. And we do. Now, also from Kotaku's podcast, Luke Smith says about the Stranger, and I quote, "We have a bunch of characters who are interesting, but the Exo Stranger is one that always makes me chuckle a little bit, because I feel that's one character where we actually wrapped up the arc. She gave you a sweet gun and then dissolved, presumably off to do something else. So I feel like of all our characters we've introduced and exited, we actually exited her effectively." Interesting.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. You can tell my demeanor here.
It sounds really positive.
But in all honesty, before we get into those, I want to inform basically all you that are listening, thank you, who Luke Smith is and why his comments can and should be questioned. This is from basically Destiny's wiki page, and I'll paraphrase some here. Okay, Luke Smith, who is he? He's a longtime Bungie employee who has held a variety of positions since joining the company and is currently design lead for raids in Destiny. Smith has been with Bungie since May of 2007, from what I can read up online. Smith's first role with Bungie was as a community manager, joining from OneUp, where he was a news editor known for engaging and humorous podcasts. I want to emphasize those 2 points. Luke Smith, A, as an editor for a gaming news site, and B, a community manager for Bungie. He did what Deej is basically doing right now. That's not insignificant. Not only does Luke Smith know how to ask the question to developers, because that used to be his job, he also knows how to answer those questions, because the same thing, that used to be his job. So keep in mind while we dive into these next few comments here. One of the ones that really popped up on a lot of the different websites and everything else that I was going back and looking through was basically Luke Smith's interview in PC Gamer magazine or online. And one of the first things that I read, and any comment, you're going to have two sides of the sword. Those who like it, those who don't. You know, one of the things that PC Gamer asks, he says, for PC gamers who are looking at this series potentially for the first time, what is the pitch that you would give them for Destiny? What is the vision you would hit at them? And the one thing that they quote right online, in not playing the first Destiny game from 2014, you haven't really missed anything. You ever been punched in the stomach and felt like all the air is sucked out of you? Luke, you know.
Have you ever been run over by a Zamboni?
I understand what they're trying to do with this game, especially going to that PC market, you know, and being on BattleNet and all that other stuff. You want to draw in that player content.
You want the monies, man.
And try, and it is a business.
Dollar bills.
No doubt about it. But I cannot stress the importance of all the people that played that game, me being one of them. There was a drought series there where they were basically going back and offering people emblems if they logged in to play. And I mean, those emblems that were given during that time frame were fairly rare, and you hardly ever see them. Those are the people that played Destiny, your game, from 2014 until current day. And to sit down and say, that comment, okay, I understand for the new players and everything else like that, but there could be 100 different ways I would label that. Destiny 1 is, a rich game that has been played from 2014 and 2017. Unfortunately, you won't be able to play it on PC as this point in time. Maybe that's something we could look at in the future. Hint, hint. Or something else like that. But the comments that we're going to be reviewing here and everything else like that, it's just, it blows my mind. It really does.
I'm in the same boat, man. I mean, this is the one quote of all the stupid quotes he's had. Throw money at the screen, and blah blah blah. The stranger doesn't matter. The darkness we're taking out. Whatever. This is the one that probably bothers me the most. Because what do you want to slap in the nuts, man? If you never played Vanilla Destiny, you haven't missed anything.
Well, what it does, it dejects your current population base. I put a post up on the Bungie forum, and there was a gentleman that basically went down and he listed it all out, what he felt, how he felt, why he felt that way, and everything else. And granted, we were promised a lot of stuff that didn't happen, but over that 3-year curriculum, they did a lot of different things to evolve the game and keep the game perpetually moving forward. When you sit down and you make those comments because you want to draw on those new people, and this whole campaign that they're basically publicizing, it's to draw on new people, and you want those sales and you want that money, right. And that's fine. That's good.
Yeah,
but you can't remember that. You got to also remember that core group of gamers that puts you in that position.
This to me feels like Xbox. I mean, when Xbox One initially launched and how bungled and fumbled that was, and Bungie might end up having to change their name to Bungled if this flops, because this could happen. I mean, think about that, man. Think about the Xbox One when it launched and all the cool things that they were trying to innovate. Like they wanted to go to digital only. They didn't want to be They didn't want you to be able to share your hard copy game with other people. And they're like, oh, and it's always online and blah, blah, blah. And yeah, so is the PlayStation 4, but they don't talk about it. Yeah. They don't talk about it. They don't talk that it checks all the time, that it updates all the time, that it needs to be running all the time. And it's just in the messaging. I mean, do you really need to say this stuff? I mean, is that necessary for you to come out and make a statement? If you never played Vanilla Destiny, you haven't missed anything. Yeah. Is that something you really need to try to sell to the masses? Because you already have, I mean, how many people for Rise of Iron, how many people for just the last big update that they had? I remember that we were up at literally before the butt crack of dawn trying to download Rise of Iron and kept getting kicked by Lord Tapier in the nutsack all the time. And it was super frustrating. But it was because there were so many people doing the exact same thing. Yeah. I'm in a queue of I was number 382,000, just trying to download and get into this freaking game. Dude, the player base is there. The player base is there. Respect your players, and you're going to be fine. How many other games have not done this? It still are just fine. I mean, you even have the yearly iteration, the annual iteration of Call of Duty, and it's still going. I mean, it's not every year. Obviously, it's losing some money because people are kind of jumping off ship, but it's still strong. I mean, it's still one of the best games each year.
I think what really is a kick to the nuts is, hands down, no matter what Bungie does, the community that is here is unbelievable. Just their charity, their camaraderie, how we communicate with one another, how we all work together. Okay. And I'm going to put that last phrase as the key point, working together. And then you got Luke Smith being in the position that he is, saying those words. What I ended my one statement when I put out there on Bungie.net on the forum was, all these comments, I said, I'm still going to buy D2, I'm still going to play it, et cetera, but these comments are making me less of a Destiny player. And it does. It affects you. You don't want to hear that kind of stuff. I mean, You just don't. You want to do it. I understand you need to draw these people in and have them buy your game, play your game, and promote this and promote that. But the way it's going about it, it's like no one else matters in the past. Even though I know he's sitting back and he's trying to talk to that new crowd to sit back and say, yeah, that, you know, that doesn't matter and all this other stuff. But there are other ways that you can communicate that on a different basis than making the statements that he has. But Luke he's always been that way, you know.
Well,
I mean, let's face it.
I don't understand that. I still don't understand why, when he's had problems in the past, why he's the one that's out front answering questions now. And I mean, looking at his background, you would think, oh, this is the right guy for the job. I mean, he was he was a news editor for One Up. I mean, it's a gaming news site.
Mhm.
He's a news editor. He knows how to ask these questions. He knows how to answer these questions because he was a community manager for Bungie during the Halo 3 days. He got promoted to be having an involvement with the game, and that's kind of how he's worked his way up the ranks. But dude, I don't understand why, when you have asked these questions before and you've answered these questions before, how you consistently flub and bungle like he's doing right now. I don't get that. Why Bungie keeps trotting him out there to allow this to keep happening.
Well, just the thing is, though, you look at it. Look how, and I commented this on episode 2. Look how polished he was at the reveal. I mean,
he did a good job.
You take that
was
area
right
there.
Though. I mean, that's scripted. That's not from the heart.
That's true. That's
right off
true.
The cuff.
But you take the person that gave that the Luke Smith that gave that presentation compared to the Luke Smith that's doing these interviews, you would say there's no way in the world that's the same person. If you did,
and I think in these interviews, he's trying to be like, "Oh, hey, I'm the cool guy that's chill, and I'm just like you. I used to be like you, you know." Like, I'm
well, you know, he was a big World of Warcraft player.
Like, I'm not
Lord and all that other stuff. And
I'm not questioning his intelligence when it comes to the gaming design. I actually really like the King's Fall raid, and that's one of the raids that he that was the first raid that he really designed. And I thought he did a good job.
Yeah.
But now he's one of the lead designers for Destiny 2, not just the raid.
Project lead.
He's a project lead. So, and they're trotting him out there as like, dude, this is our guy. This is the guy. I know Mark Noseworthy is a big deal in the company too, with developing this game, but Luke Smith is like, he's got a lot of power right now.
Well, he's taken front and center on this position because of some of the comments that he's made. And the same deal here. I don't want to sit back and downplay the guy's intelligence, his contribution level to Bungie, his contribution level to Destiny.
No, I clearly
I'm just guy. Right now I'm feeling, that the dude's taking a shot to a lot of people's guts and knocking the wind completely out of them.
Oh, big time.
And when you do that to a community like this that steps up in times of need, and Nepal, just everything.
Yeah, it's funny. We have five, well, pretty much four. We have 4 basic quotes or 3 basic quotes from this guy. And did you ever watch Casino Royale with Daniel Craig? His first film is James Bond, right? And there's a part in the film where he gets captured by Mads Mikkelsen's character, and they strip him naked. They have him tied to like this chair, and then they've cut a hole out in the basket weave of the seat of the chair. So he's sitting in this chair naked, right? And Mads Mikkelsen has this really thick rope that's knotted on the end, and they keep swinging it, and he swings it and just like tags him in the junk over and over repeatedly. Like that's how they're trying to torture him for information, And I feel like I'm sitting in that chair right now. So I mean, thoughts on retconning the darkness out of Destiny and effectively wrapping up the Stranger story. For me personally, reading it in context, taking in context of his entire quote, which I know there was a lot there, but to sum it all up, he felt like the darkness, it just lumped all of the races we've been fighting in Destiny. He felt like it lumped them all together as minions of the darkness, and that he felt like the game deserves better than just to be, these are all the bad guys, and that's the end. They're just called the darkness. So I understand that point, I do. I do understand what he's trying to say about that. Uh, but man, you think about the story in Destiny, as it progressed over the last 3 years, and you have the Traveler, which is the light. You have the darkness, which is the entity trying to kill the light. I mean, that's that's the story, man. I mean, what
Well,
what else is there?
well, and if you sit down, and this is my iteration of it. I mean, this is just me going through the different lore lords that are out there that are on YouTube that have really put a lot of time and effort to it. And I don't want to say he copped this out because he had a different thing there in mind or whatever else. I mean, literally, there's thousands of people out there that are putting out YouTube videos and lore videos on this that are not on Bungie's payroll that could have taken that statement that he put there in 100 other different directions than this. The Traveler and the light that they give the Guardians, okay, gives us our abilities, gives us our powers, gives us our, to be reincarnated, okay? And this Destiny 1, it starts out that the darkness came, and that was the start of the collapse. And in, the Traveler's last staging effort against the darkness, he made the Ghost to go find out basically dead exos, dead humans, dead awokens that could harness the Traveler's light, or what was left of it.
So basically, without the darkness, the Guardians don't exist. We don't exist. Destiny doesn't exist.
In a sense, and if you sit down and you look at the opening story missions of Destiny 2, once Gaul basically, what I said in that comment in episode 2 was they jail the Traveler, they put that device on it, and the Traveler basically starts shedding everything out, and all the Guardians start to fall down onto their knees, because they're basically drained of their light. They don't have their abilities. We don't have our skill, our powers.
Which doesn't make sense to me. They're falling to their knees, but in that trailer, I mean, they're still popping bubbles. Zavala is still popping his Titan bubble.
Yeah, but that was before the device that jails the Traveler comes into play. So, like I said, I'm hoping that there's some more story on that, because there are some blank areas within that context that I've seen so far. But if the Traveler is our light in the way that falls back to us, the darkness has given power or other forms of ability to all these other darkness, basically alien races, between the Hive, the Vex, the Fallen, maybe not necessarily the Cabal. Okay. So with something like that, I could say, okay, this is the story of Dominus Gaul. The darkness is still out there, but I wouldn't say, oh, we have no idea what it is. You have time to develop that. Okay. You've got a 10-year contract on this for Destiny 3, Destiny 4, Destiny 5. I don't know how far it's going to go. You have time to throw that out there and say, yeah, the darkness is out there and it's returning. What does the speaker always say? We will not survive this time around. Well, you're fighting all these minions of darkness, but what actually is the darkness? And that could be the final end of whatever, if Destiny does have an end when it gets to that point. So to make those statements, it's just very obscure is the best way I'm gonna say it.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
He might have been getting bombed by 50 million questions, and this is what he came up with, just to basically end all the questions.
Sure. I'm sure he had a long day. He was tired, and programming's hard. But
throw something out there that's totally obscure that'll make everyone else start questioning other stuff. But it's like I said, just, oof.
You know what? I think if he had just worn a discounted T-shirt, it would have been fine.
No, he's got new ones.
Oh. Well, I don't have access to those because one, they're not discounted. Yeah. 2, I haven't unlocked the package in the game yet that lets me get the discount for them. And 3, they're all out of stock. Thanks.
Yeah. Cheers. When we talk about the Stranger story, it's another person within Destiny 1 that you could take in literally 100 different ways.
Yeah, this one is one that I'm scratching my head over. I don't understand this. I don't understand this one.
Well,
why is it needed? Why does he need to mention this? I mean, you could have completely left the Stranger alone.
I'm sure he had other people that were asking questions. about the Exo Stranger, so on, and but
yeah, and Chris Evans gets asked about the Marvel's Infinity War that's
yeah,
coming up all the time, but he's not going to give away all. I mean,
the
you know,
give up the ghost, no pun intended.
yeah, I mean, how many times have they asked all
When
the cast of Star Wars about Episode 8, and it's just there's some stuff you just don't need to say.
there's things with the Exo Stranger. Number one, who is she talking to when you first meet her and you first fly into Venus after you defeat the Vex for the first intro to him? There's some other ship, something else out of there, because she basically says before she leaves you, cut the engines, and I'm on my way back. So there's something else out there, obviously hunting her or the group of people that she is with. Okay, what is that? There's been 100 different hypotheses on that aspect. Okay, once you go in and you get back to where you need to get back to, and you go and you meet the Queen of the Awoken, and you get back in and you bring back the head of the Eye of the Gate Lord, and they get you back into the Black Garden. Okay, she shows back up, and yeah, it's true, she gives you a sweet gun. Okay, but she said that she has seen absolutely horrible things that we've never seen that have been born out in the darkness. That tells me there's something outside of the area that you are currently held to in Destiny 1.
Well, fortunately, not anymore, because the darkness doesn't exist.
Yeah, the darkness doesn't exist, and this is this.
And she doesn't have time to explain why she doesn't have time to explain.
No, not at all. And to say that she exited effectively, oh my God.
Wow. Got me. Wow.
Give me that roll of Tums. I got indigestion.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about this, about basically removing integral parts of the Destiny's originally storyline to help streamline Destiny 2's game narrative and moving forward, I think we've kind of said, okay, yeah, Luke's in charge of it. Is he the right guy to lead that development? I don't know. I'm just going off of what we have in front of us with some of the comments. The game may come out. I mean, you know what? He said some stupid crap back in the day. Sure. But he's delivering on the bottom line.
Sure. What his whole take on the Stranger definitely makes me question it. When it comes to, if you completely just cut him out of the story, let someone else handle story duty, and let Luke design aspects of the game, like the raid, like things like that, because he seems to be very good at that. Let him go do that. He's an intelligent guy. He's capable. Utilize his strengths, which right now I'm pretty convinced that talking is not one of those, unless it's super scripted and he get, like it was for the reveal. I think he did a good job at the reveal, and that's how, if they want to use him in that capacity, then let him do that. Otherwise, for all these questions that they keep having, let Deej handle it, man, because he hasn't been screwing this up like this guy has. Just toss it off to your current community manager and let him handle your questions. And if he ever gets in a bind, again, you have that great Stranger quote to fall back on about how you don't have time to explain. It works. It's 100% effective. And people are just going to laugh and be like, okay, I gotta, yeah. Is he the right guy to lead that development? Not the narrative. No, I don't believe that he's the right guy to lead the narrative, but is he the right guy to design aspects of the game? Yes, I think he is the right guy.
Yeah. Well, some of the comments he's made in the past, they've come back and made apologies and stuff along those lines, but I haven't seen that yet. I don't know if we will, but yeah.
This is a massive poop. And he also confirmed that Destiny 2 will not launch with private PvP matches available or a ranked PvP system. What?
When I first heard that, my take on Destiny 2 and just some of the things that we heard that was going on with the subclasses, to me, it was more derived at the PvP player. Okay. We finally got private matches in Destiny 1. You start seeing, Destiny popping up on the circuits. stuff like that. So I figure, okay, they're really going to push this hard. Warlock, you can't self-res, which, everyone says that's a crutch. It's a good narrative to have, or a good aspect to have. I shouldn't say narrative, a good aspect to have in a lot of the PvP aspects. The hunter not being able to go and viz, and get into that area where you got a guardian that's down that you can't just necessarily run into there because you get lit up. Pulling that out, it seemed like they were pulling some of the things that basically aided you in attaining what was needed to get through some of the harder PvE elements in the game. And then to come back with this and say no private PvP matches are available and no ranked PvP system, I know that is something that the PvP site was very much looking forward to, but I don't know. Maybe it's another one of those things for this update. Yeah, you pay $10 and we'll give you some private matches.
So, I mean, that ties directly into our final topic here. And I mean, I feel like they're following the exact same content release pattern. I mean, I really do. And it's hard not to feel that way when they say things like this, when we've only seen 2 subclasses. Well, I don't even know if we've seen a second subclass for the Warlock yet, but at least for the Titan and the Hunter, we've seen 2 subclasses, and it kind of feels like, yeah, that's it, man. You're going to be getting 2 subclasses for each character. So, 6 out of the 9 that we are used to right now, which means that in a future DLC, you're going to get that extra subclass finally.
Yeah.
And you're going to get that private PvP and ranked PvP. And I feel like that's just part of their system where they're like, oh, hey, we have it all figured out for how we're going to release content later on. So you guys will have a constant flow of, content, blah, blah, blah. I don't feel like this is the way to do it, man. I know you don't need to put everything in the game right away, but dude, I don't need Vanilla Destiny Part 2.
It's coming. I'm telling you right now, it's coming. I've told this. I've told this to the groups and everything else like that. You're going to go from having the ability to do 4 raids a week down to 1.
Yeah, and you're going back to level 20 light again. So we're going to max level 30. Again.
And once again, this kind of leads back into for the people that are playing this new, they're not going to know any different.
No,
that's why I say, well, if you didn't play Destiny 1, don't worry about it.
I mean, this
all these other people that are complaining about this stuff, they play Destiny 1 and they're just, and it's leading back to that thing that I keep hearing about the casual gamer. And,
it sounds like it bothers you as much as
tongue biting.
Yeah. I mean, close to 2,000 hours invested in this game, and this is
small time.
Yeah, this is my thing. Hey, let's whap you in the nuts again with our room. Thank you, appreciate it. I think it's going to wrap it up for our tabletop our discussion table here. We're going to move on to our buy or sell segment now. We're going to be talking about Destiny 2 at E3 in our buy or sell. And buy or sell, basically, we're going to read this down. We're going to read a topic and just simply say whether we're going to buy it or whether we're going to sell it. So, Joe, E3 Destiny 2 reveal at Sony's press conference. You going to buy it or you going to sell it?
I'd like to flush it down the toilet, but Sony had the foresight. What more can I say? When Microsoft had Halo, that was the one thing that Sony and PlayStation was clamoring for, a Halo type shooter that they could call our own, everything else like that. And the first chance that they had to go out and grab that, they did. They've got the contract, they've got the limited edition strike, they've got the limited ship, the armor, and all the other good stuff around it. The one thing that perplexes me more about it than anything else is the duration of it. When the Xbox had all that stuff with Call of Duty, first, it was a 30-day type ordeal. And I think it's still the same way on Call of Duty. I'm not 100% sure on all that, but with year-long exclusives and this coming into the PC market and all this other stuff, if the PC market falls into the communities and all these communities come together, I don't know how well that's exactly going to work out. I think there could be some hostilities there with that, but the fact of the matter is Sony ponied it up. They're the one in the driver's seat.
I didn't know it.
They, it's, I mean, in all honesty, as crazy as it sounds, my hat's off to Sony for taking that leap and making it happen, and it's paying them off. It's paying them off dividends.
So you're gonna buy it?
Yeah.
Yeah, boy.
Unfortunately, it's a business move, and it's a smart one.
It was a smart business move. I'll give them that. But I am gonna sell the reveal at Sony's press conference because one, it didn't do anything other than show Cobain, and I don't really care. Like, it didn't really do anything for me. They didn't add really any new information other than, oh, hey, play it first, play it best on PlayStation. Blah. Okay, yeah, we've heard that before. Thank you. In the end, I didn't really show anything new, and I think all the news really came after their press conference. At their press conference, yeah. Sell.
Okay, so here's one for you, and we've kind of already covered that. Okay, so yeah, Bungie did reveal Destiny 2 will have exclusive content for Sony at least to fall of 2018, this time around for PS4 users. They'll be getting an exclusive strike armor sets, PvP map, and an exotic sniper rifle called the Borealis. I'm happy for them. I feel a little neglected on my Xbox side, but I'm happy for them.
You know, I mean, I have a PS4. I can get this stuff if I want it. But again, as well. I'm gonna sell this. I'm selling this for how long, the longevity is what I'm selling, because that is hot garbage. When you take this out of people's hands for an entire year, and it's more than a year. It's more than a year, because look at what they've done with this last bit of stuff that they've held on to exclusively wise, where it's like, oh, actually in our contract, it stipulates that we can actually hold on to it instead of giving it in 2016. We can wait till 2017, the fall of 2017. Xbox still doesn't have some of the exclusive content that's on PS4. Granted, some of that stuff may not be that great, but I can't even tell you because I wouldn't know, because we haven't had it for 2 years.
You know, this is kind of out of index, and it probably should be something in the discussion table. One thing I haven't seen anyone ask about: will Destiny 1 get those PlayStation exclusive eventually released to Destiny?
I think so.
And, you know, I mean, just the amount of time I've gotten Destiny, and even if Destiny 2 is out, I will still go back and play Destiny to get those last bit of Grimoire that I need, because that's one of the things that drives me absolutely freaking insane.
Man, I mean, the Grimoire is going in the way of the darkness, man. You can get it while it's hot.
Next episode.
Yeah. So PC, man, it's going to be getting Destiny 2 in October. Late October. Was it like October 24th or 26th?
24th.
Yeah. Almost 2 full months after console launch. Well, not 2 full months, but close. I mean,
very close.
Yeah. So, and Sony revealed that now it's September 6th instead of September 8th for the console release. Thoughts on this, man? Do you buy or sell? One, do you buy or sell the new release date for console? And two, are you going to buy or sell this whole October thing?
Well, if they're truly making the PC version that fine-tuned and everything else like that, my hat's off to them. They need to execute that literally flawlessly. And I guarantee some of the content or some of the feedback that they're going to get from the consoles is going to be plugged directly into that aspect. So that part I'd buy all day long, you know, and you want that to be successful. You want that to be a fruitful experience. The release date from September 8th to September 6th. I mean, we're 30 days into this, and you're going to back it up 2 more dates. Man, I had to go change my vacation and everything else. What is wrong with you? Got it done, though, you know.
Yeah.
So that to me is not the biggest deal breaker. The one thing that they did comment on, though, is that the raid would be out before the PC launches. Sure. I think that is an absolute terrible move.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Unless you're going to do, like we said in Literally, are they going to follow the same exact release pattern, in which case we see the first DLC drop sometime in late November, early December.
I think they will. I think everything is
I might
already
understand that.
to
But
follow.
to have the pinnacle of Destiny right now on the PvP side is obviously Trials, and on the PvE is raids. Destiny is primarily known for that raid aspect.
Oh man, what do you think? What do you just a thought? I'm sorry, I'm interrupting here, but what do you think if they don't add Trials right away? What if that
they won't? I'll tell you right now, they won't.
Saying it's not. Now you think it's going to be with the DLC?
I think no. I'm not saying it's going to be with DLC, but I think like any time that even when they launched Rise of Iron, everything was kind of postponed, holding out. They want to see exactly what's going to happen before they just go give that thing up. And I think that's also part of what they do with the data analysis when they go into that raid. Okay, is this thing way overpowered? Is this going to do this? Is this going to do that? And it shows them, okay, these players are going into this strike, and this is the kind of, DPS they're doing to a boss with this, and that. Okay, how do we make these raid bosses, X more the hit marker limit than what we're seeing in the strikes and, your everyday patrols as we know it, or lost sectors as they're going to be, or treasure maps or quest lines. I think they take that data, and that's basically how they delve into that, to sit down and make sure that it's a solid experience, it's a challenging experience for those people. So I don't see them releasing either one of those things right away, but like I said, I most definitely would not release any of that end game content until at least the PC was out there, because once again, that's something that was going to snowball through. Okay, you release it beforehand, and if this is going on, that's going on, you can tell people, okay, well, stay away from the internet, and it'll be a full-fledged experience for you. But somewhere someone's going to say something's going to get out, and it kind of takes it away from the whole scenario. Like when we did our Virgin run on Wrath of the Machine, I looked at nothing. I didn't want to see nothing. I didn't want to hear nothing. Didn't go on the website, didn't go on the forum, didn't answer messages. I didn't do anything, simply because I wanted that experience to be completely blind. And, we didn't finish it day one, but it was still a really good experience. And then when we went back in on day 2, we did a little bit more exploring. We beat it. And then we went back and, okay, well, this is what we found. Like, oh, hell, there's 2 more exotic chests, so on and so forth. But to me, that's the experience in itself. If you got someone else that's always doing that work for you, whether you're getting a carry or you're going online, getting all the information before you go in, that to me just kills it, and normally people that are that way, they're going to hit this game and they're going to get the hell out. And I'm really, really hoping that Destiny 2 is not that way, even though I keep hearing casual player, this is going to get to this is going to get to that. And if that happens, how much longevity will the game have is the question.
I don't know, but I mean, I'm going to go a big buy on the move to September 6th. I'm the sooner the better. The sooner we can try this, sink our teeth into it, the better it is for me. So buy all the way on that one. Destiny 2 in October. I completely agree with the PC launch. It has to be perfect. They can't bungle this one up. So I think October is a little too long to wait, but they definitely need to knock that out of the park. So it's a buy also.
Okay. So on our next one, we got Destiny lead, Mr. Mark Noseworthy. He recently took to Twitter to let gamers know that because Destiny 2 will only run at 30 frames per second on all consoles. Now, this is not because they were intentionally sabotaging the Xbox One X. He also clarified that none of their partners, being Sony, told them that's what they had to do. According to him, Destiny 2 basically ships to the PC on 30 frames per second, but it will run on ultra settings for the PC if you have, the capability to do so.
Sell.
Yeah.
Sell. How can I sell this harder? Sell.
Yeah.
Can I sell it one more time? Sell. Thank you. Sell. Dude, Are you kidding me? I mean, dude, it's 2017. How is this not running at 60 frames per second across the board? I mean, one, I know that the PS4 Pro is not selling like hotcakes like they wanted it to. It's not.
No.
People are they've decreased the price of the actual PS4. And I know they're decreasing the price of the PS4 Pro, but at the end of the day, the PS4 is still cheaper. So people are still like, hey, it's going to be the console I play on. In Xbox, I mean, I'll be completely honest. The Xbox One S is probably just fine. I mean, it is, and it's cheaper than the Xbox One X, which is going to be a beast of a console. But dude, there's no way that you can tell me that this game cannot run at 60 frames per second on the One X or the PS4 Pro consistent through and through, and that the best way to do this is just limit it at 30 FPS. That just
Well,
did I sell this already? Because I sell it.
I sell it as well. I haven't seen all the specs on what it's supposed to run. I mean, Luke was pretty adamant in his interview at E3 that, the PS or at the reveal that the PS4 Pro could not run at 60 frames per second constantly. I've got
getting sucker punched by that guy is pretty crappy too.
I've got a hard time believing that the Xbox One X, based on the stats that I've currently seen on it, would not be able to handle that.
Oh, I think it's a beast, man. I think it's going to run just fine.
Yeah, but unless he was directly asked that question, that's a political statement in itself.
I think he's being hounded. I'm sure not him specifically, but I'm sure Bungie in general. That's been a big question that's cropping up everywhere.
No, and you can have a lot of it. And for Microsoft, Destiny 2, it's a popular game. Let's face it, no doubt about it. No matter if you're on console or you're on, hopefully if you're going to be on PC, I think it's going to be still a very, very popular game. Probably one of the best titles of the year.
I've already pre-ordered.
I'm there with you. Slightly more.
Suckers, man. We're suckers. Can we sell that too?
Slightly more. But what's going to hurt that Xbox One X is if you're charging that $500 price tag and games such as Destiny 2 are not able to capitalize on your hardware aspect, that can hurt. That can hurt big time. Because, I mean, if someone is in the market for either a PlayStation or an Xbox, why on earth would you go spend $500 on Xbox One X when none of the games that you may want to play are taking advantage of that advanced hardware that is there? I'm still getting an Xbox One X nonetheless.
I like your style.
But it was disappointing to hear that getting said at E3, because I really had my fingers crossed for it. But
yeah, I think we all did.
It's probably a safe bet on Bungie's half for doing it. That doesn't mean I have to like it. Sell it away.
You know what you don't have to cross your fingers for is a new high-level PvE content coming out called Flashpoints, which will occur within the Destiny 2 playable zones. So you can go to one of the 4 planets. There's going to be these flashpoints that are designed to pull players to certain locations. Single players can participate. It's basically a glorified public event that you can do once a week, or get at least rewarded for once a week. It's going to feature things like treasure maps and unique enemies. And the rewards for completing this are Nightfall level. I want to reiterate that this is supposed to be a high-level PvE event that's your rewards are Nightfall level. If they're Nightfall level-esque compared to the rewards of the current Nightfall that we have right now, I'm going to pop up a merchandising tent and sell all of this right next to my discounted t-shirts, because that's garbage. Sell. If that's what this is, man.
Okay. Here's the thing that I don't know about it, and this is the reason why at this point in time I'm actually going to buy it. So we're on different aspects here.
All right.
Okay. let's go back in time. You're a year
Do
one.
I have to?
Yeah, you're a year one player.
Oh,
And I loved this. I did. I love it. Disagree with me all you want. What'd you do every Friday morning there, Quaz?
check my phone to see what Zer's selling.
See what Zer was selling. Because the exotics that Zer brought, you busted your butt to make sure you picked up all 27 strange coins from the weekly strike. That was the only area that you got strange coins. Every once in a blue moon, you could be patrolling and pick up 100 different chests, and you might pick up 1 to 2 strange coins. But you would go to Zer because that's where you got your exotics. There was no 3 of coins that dropped every other freaking boss or any of this other stuff.
Yeah.
And to me, 3 of coins really ruined a lot of stuff within the game. Granted, people were getting this, they were getting that, and yeah, that's heavy and everything else. That's happy to have that. But once again, you pull that longevity out. So unless you are constantly upgrading with content day after, month after month after month, how are you going to keep that player base? If you run the game, I got everything, see you later. Time to move on to something else.
I'm just afraid that this is going to be super. How do I put it? Super repetitive. Kind of like how the Forge and Prison of Elders, and it is. It's just already has that feel to it for me. That hey, there's this thing going. Like you can check your map, and we see that there's a flashpoint because it's flashing and it's a point on our map, and we're like, hey, there's something going on IO. So we're gonna hop in our. We don't even have to hop and go to orbit anymore. We're just gonna hop on over to IO, and there's this thing going on. There's a bunch of cool enemies, and then there's a big bad boss, kind of like what's the knight that we have to take down on Earth? The one that just it was so hard to kill that guy, even though he was like 30 levels below us.
Oh, you're talking in the Rocket Yard.
Not the Rocket Yard. It was Skywatch.
Oh, over in Skywatch, you're talking about for.
Yeah. So
I know, and he's still
you know what I'm talking about, and he's still tough. Yeah, he's still tough. You're level 40 now, and yeah, 400 gear, whatever. Dude, if that's all it's going to be, though, is this glorified not Nightfall, but glorified public event, which is what this pretty much sounds like it's going to be, and you get rewards for it. Those rewards need to match the difficulty. The Nightfalls right now, those rewards are terrible. They've been terrible for a long time. If I get another freaking ghost, man.
But here's the thing you got to remember, okay? They're terrible for players of a higher skill set or level because you've already attained everything. So here we are, players that have played literally thousands of hours in the game, and we're saying they're terrible, but we're still playing the game, so on and so forth. Now, for someone that doesn't want to play that much or doesn't have the time to play that much, and they get a few things, et cetera, they're going to think, yeah, that's better. But like I said,
this is the perfect opportunity to get that hook, man. This is the perfect opportunity to be like, dude, check this out. When you get this, one, you either get a treasure map, which could lead you to some awesome stuff, or two, this guy can drop an orb, and this orb or whatever it is lets you change a skill or a stat on your armor. And if you have, this is a big thing that I hope that they do, but I doubt that they do because they just doesn't seem like they're learning in the ways that I wish they would. If they had gear sets, if they actually had sets of armor that were tailored for each other, so you get buffs, each piece of armor will unlock another buff. So each piece of armor that you have equipped in that set unlocks a buff. And then it's kind of like Diablo 3 where, hey, I can re-roll a certain perk on this armor. If this stuff would drop something that allows you to roll a perk either on your armor or your weapon, I mean, that would be huge. Or you have a chance to actually get a piece of that armor from one of these Nightfalls. That's huge. I mean, that's what keeps people coming back to Diablo 3 because it's a hook. And that would keep me coming back. But instead, I'm afraid that this stuff's going to be like, hey man, here's another awesome gun that you already have 17 of, but it
Yeah.
has really terrible perks like Gorilla Fighter. Congratulations. Like, thanks, game. That sucks.
It could, but like I said, if it goes back to the way it was in year one, the Nightfall, it was no joke. I
No,
mean,
it wasn't. It was tough, man. You felt like you earned
you earned
that
that,
ghost shell,
and
and then you were upset about it.
you
Like
earned that,
me.
yeah. But even then, you were still happy to get the ghost shell. You were
Yeah.
happy to get that exotic, and God
Oh, you're
forbid,
definitely happy
God
to get the
forbid,
exotic.
you get that
Gallon.
Gallahorn drop. Woo! Eardrums
Yeah,
are popping,
definitely worth
baby.
it. Yep, yep.
But that was it. That was the whole thing. There were times you went to battle for that stuff, and you came away with that ghost. And it's like, yeah, I got that ghost. Man, that dude got that. That guy got the Mida. That guy got this. Holy crap, I got the Gallahorn.
Yeah, well,
There
I
was
mean,
nothing better than that feeling. And if you go back on YouTube and, like I said, you watch those videos on year one,
yeah,
just watching the video and watching other people experience that,
it's joy,
man,
man. It's pure
it's pure
joy.
bliss. It's
And
pure bliss.
and if we can go back to those, then I buy this. And if the rewards are truly worth the effort, I buy this. But at least as of right now, after all these quotes, man, I have not a lot of hope that these are going to be. Maybe the rewards will be cool starting out, but eventually, I think the rewards are going to be garbage. And if that ends up being the case, then I definitely am going to sell this. Our final buy or sell, the look. Now, at Sony's press conference, they released, or they revealed, sorry, not released, they revealed the look of Gaul, aka Cabane. Oh,
You nailed it.
calm down. That's not time for fear. That comes later after the beta. Yeah, we know it is going to come later after the beta. Thanks, Cabane. I'm kind of afraid right now, and not of you. So my fear is in Luke Smith. We'll see how this.
We should have that as a buy or sell. Who do you fear more, Gall or Luke Smith?
Oh man,
that's my next poll on Bungie.net.
Pretty much all Bungie does right now. Noseworthy, Smith, you name it. Deej. I don't know. Deej seems like he might be all right. I don't know, but yeah, man. What do you think of the look of Gaul?
Similar personalities to other people we've seen in movies or games or otherwise, but
to a guy named Batman. Yeah, I agree. I saw that so many comments. All the a lot of news sites, like Forbes. I think Paul Tassi was calling him Bane. I haven't seen anybody say Cabane yet. I think we've got Cabane locked down.
We got the Cabane.
Yeah. Dude, I don't know, man. I was okay with his armor and his look, but then you get to the head, and I was like,
"What happened?
What? You forgot some armor or something up there, right? Maybe he gets a helmet put on later on.
He gets like,
that big hunk of like half thing that people are like, oh, the Traveler got split in half. Maybe he wears that out there.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's got some venom pumped into his back, and he can like pump himself up like Bane does. Either way, I'm actually going to sell the look of Gaul. If they have that conspiracy theory that people are floating around that the Traveler's not the Traveler, but the Speaker is actually the guy pulling the strings behind the scenes. If they flip that out and man, I don't know. Maybe he just like explodes out of Gaul's chest, like, "Oh, it was me the whole time."
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
I don't know. I got no idea. But yeah, his armor and everything else, the character, whoever is doing his voiceovers and stuff like that, I think sounds good.
Yeah. It doesn't. You know what? It doesn't sound like. It doesn't sound
like Oryx.
Like Oryx. Flash
or Axis.
Dude, how lazy is that, man? How lazy was that? Because it's the exact same noise. Oh boy, I saw that too.
Yeah, but with that, all good until we got up top. Right. He kind of had the butter face. Everything was good, but his face. But
I've never said that about a guy. But
well, yeah, right. it's well, like I said, it too much reminisces other characters that everyone is probably very well aware of, that I'm going to hold my comments back. So
you know what was that also the same voice for what's his name from House of Wolves?
What's his name from House of Wolves?
The big bad from House of Wolves.
Skolas?
Yeah.
No.
It wasn't?
He had a little bit more of a raspy type setup.
Oh, kind of like Tanix?
Yeah, Tanix. You know, all them Fallen got a little bit of a raspy voice, so they got that aspect at least going in their favor. They stay to that tonnage, if you will.
All right. But either way, I'm going to sell the look. It's gone.
Yeah, I agree with you. So we agreed on one. How about that?
Hooray! Oh, well, I think that's going to wrap up our show, man. If you'd like, actually, were you going to read this part?
Am I? I don't know. You can read it. Go for it, man.
Are you sure? All right. Well, that's going to wrap up our show. We're so prepared today, man. We are so prepared. I'm glad we're on it. If you like what you hear, feel free to subscribe and or like us on YouTube. You can also hear this on iTunes under Destiny Expanse, all one word. And feel free to leave us a review if you want. And also, you can email us at destinyexpanse@gmail.com. Again, destinyexpanse is all one word @gmail.com. We'll be doing a mailbag and reading listener mail on air here in the future. So anything that you want to ask us, feel free to go ahead and ask. Again, thanks as always to my partner in crime, Joe. Appreciate it, man.
Not a problem, buddy. I'm here for you.
Oh, boy. Stay tuned for next week while we await for the next slew of epic Luke Smith quotes. And man, he's just so quotable.
Yeah.
And you know who else is quotable? Abe Lincoln. And one of his best quotes, don't believe everything you read on the internet. Let's hope that phrase rings true.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Out of all the quotes that we've read over the past week, let's really hope
like I said, I still have hope, but man, still gasping for air.
That's better than having gassy. Yeah. I don't know. I was just trying to make something up there. It didn't work. Thanks again, folks. That's going to do it for our show. We're out.
Take care, Guardians.